to Wellness was developed by Kate Lorig, a physician at Stanford University in California, in an attempt to provide people with chronic illnesses with the tools and the courage to participate in the management of their own illness. It's spread across the world. It's being used in many different places now. And most people involved in chronic disease management research and clinical work are very supportive of that program.
As I was going through participating in the course and facilitating it, it became very evident that it spoke to my values as well, that it was very much about self-management and supporting and empowering our participants to manage their own health. And I think that's something I've been an advocate for all along, so to have a program that dovetailed that was wonderful.
Most of us have been socialized in terms of we get sick, we go to the doctor, there's an intervention and we get better. What happens when that doesn't happen? And so what it means is that there needs to be a relationship in which we have a supportive medical community and individuals engaging in self-care. So Your Way to Wellness is a great way of helping people figure out, well, what can I do to manage the symptoms? If I can't eliminate them, therefore they're chronic, then what can I do to live well with them? And so that's one of the ways that this program really works.
This is our session for this week. We're going to start with our action plans. We're going to go over medication usage.
In December 2006, the Nova Scotia Department of Health entered into a license agreement with Stanford University of California for the Chronic Disease Self-Management Program. Renaming it Your Way to Wellness, the department offers this community-based program coordinated through its 9 district health authorities. Your Way to Wellness is a 2.5-hour workshop given once a week for 6 weeks and facilitated by 2 trained lay leaders who themselves are coping with chronic illness. Each participant receives a copy of the book Living a Healthy Life with Chronic Conditions and is encouraged each week to consult the easy-to-read text, which features appropriate exercises for improving strength, articles on medications, communicating with family, and many other relevant subjects.
So if you hear something negative or you think something negative, try and make it a positive and report back how you did that.
So now as a facilitator, when I go back and we do a sharing in the very beginning of the chronic pain conditions that you have, I kind of have that aha moment, oh yeah, I do have chronic pain. It kind of brings it back to me because I have moved away that I'm in pain 24/7, but I don't focus on my pain. It's not the focus of my day and it doesn't limit me.
There's just that connection of understanding each other and knowing what each of us is going through and having to deal with the same issues, diet, exercise, emotions, social interactions with family and friends, and everyone shares the same problems.
The hardest decision for anyone living with chronic pain has to make every day is whether or not to get out of bed and live another day. It's a very hard thing to do, to live with severe chronic pain every day.
Because in the beginning, I just gave into it. I just thought this is the way my life is going to be. Immobile, you know, not socializing, and then depression set in, and so it just sort of, I just gave up, sort of. And then with the program, it just gives you a whole new outlook on life, you know, and you accept it. The acceptance was a big thing. And then once you accept it, you say, okay, now I need to take care of myself.
Many people who struggle with chronic disease suffer alone. Often their chronic disease interferes with their ability to connect to other people. So they may be fairly housebound or pretty limited in their range.
Yes, when I was first moved in here at this building, I felt that the pain I had to sit at home watching TV, but go through pain alone until they contacted me about these wellness courses. I took a few, but then they asked me about this here wellness course. I went to this one, it was the best one of all. So I no longer had to deal with the pain on my own.
It's just, and I met a friend that actually I grew up with years ago, and you never know who you're going to run into, and you know, oh, it's so nice to see you. And it's just the whole program that it gives you, there's so many different topics, and there's something there for everybody, and everybody can learn from it.
Well, the main thing was that to realize that I wasn't alone living with a chronic condition, that there was other people out there, and so that made it one of the best.
So it was big times at our house. My confidence level was 8, and I thought it went pretty good. Pretty tired this week, though.
It's estimated that people with chronic illnesses on average spend 12 hours a year with all their healthcare professionals. That's total, 12 hours a year. The rest of the year, they're on their own. So who best would it be to equip to manage that person's chronic illness ongoing? Their healthcare provider, or the person that's by themselves for all but 12 hours a year?
Because a lot of people think, well, if I have a chronic condition, I'm sick, I can't do, and I can't do, and I'm not able to do. And this program tells us that we are able to do, we are able to live with our chronic conditions, we are able to go on with a normal lifestyle. We're able to go on our trips, we're able to go to the beach, we're able to do all those things that we think we can't do because we have a chronic condition.
Well, sometimes when people have chronic conditions, they often feel that they can't do anything, or they label themselves, or the doctors label themselves, the client, like as that they're this or that. But technically that's just a small portion of them, and they just need to figure out how to work through it and be a whole rather than just an illness.
When you start ownership of your own illness, then you become in charge of it, and you can find ways and means of helping yourself along the way, cutting back on the anger and the frustration that you may feel as a result of having. Because you can imagine if you were a mental health patient and you didn't have any work and so on, and you were coming along, but you weren't employable and so on, you could get pretty angry and pretty frustrated. And we help them, and they help themselves, of course, to deal with their illness.
C'est un programme que c'est self-manage. On peut vivre une vie normale comme j'ai dit avant, et puis pas seulement ça, mais ça arrache beaucoup de pressure au-dessus le healthcare. Parce que le monde est en train de faire les affaires pour eux-mêmes. Parce qu'ils ont pris cette cour ici, et puis ils ont appris comment faire les affaires pour eux-mêmes.
Let me sing for you, I won't take long. Some simple words when things go wrong, to help you raise your voice in song and lend a helping hand. No lives are ever free from pain, so when your days are filled with rain, just know the sun will shine again and love those clouds away. A smile, a glance, a knowing hand, 2 simple words I understand are all it takes to be a friend when friends are hard to find.
Okay, so which is your action plan for this?
My action plan is to continue doing the food journal.
The food journal. And how often are you doing that currently?
Every time I put something in my mouth.
Every time. And that's been achievable for you so far?
Yep.
Okay, and so you
And
want
it's scary.
I've done that too.
We make an action plan. It's something they want to do. Number 1. It's, we get them to specify, like, when are you going to do it? How many times are you going to do it? What's your confidence level? So we look at your confidence level in achieving it from 1 to 10, and it needs to be up around a 7. So if someone says their confidence level is 2, we're like, well, do you really want to do that? So we encourage them to pick something they really want to do. And the other piece of that is that we check in next week. And in between the weeks, the participants end up getting a buddy that calls them during the week to see how you're doing on your action plan.
The best thing for this course was the action plan I learned. One, the action plan was to do exercises at least 20 times every day. First, I was skeptical about it, because being in a chair, exercising I thought would be a little hard, but then the course told me ways of doing it well, would be as hard and not as stressful. I did it, and my blood sugar went down, and that was a miracle, because my sugar was quite high and I was afraid of strokes or something like that would happen.
I think that people with chronic illness need to get this program because it's so helpful in them becoming in charge of their own health. Not that they leave out the healthcare team and doctor and so on, but you've got to have that ownership of your own health condition, and you can make some valuable changes in the way you deal with anger and frustration and all of those things that compound us when we are involved with a chronic illness.
Let me send these final words along. May your days be full and long, and may your nights be filled with song. Sharing music with your friends, may the music